Thank you. I knew you would remember that. Every morning. All right. Now's the time for visitors and delegations that may want to speak to the board. And I lost my sheet. It's not on here. Don't talk about personnel. Does anybody want to speak to us tonight? Okay, thank you. Next is recognition of all state girls basketball participants. Mr. Carroll, Rick, welcome. Rick just completed his 30th year as a head basketball coach in Green River. It's quite an accomplishment. Rick, appreciate your services over the years.
Thank you, Steve. It's good to be here tonight. Say hello to everybody. I'm not going to say, hey, school board and superintendent and all that, because I'd probably leave somebody out. So I'll just say hi to all of you. You all look good. Okay. You guys out there look good too. Okay. You guys that are afraid to take your masks off, I understand why. You're not going to ask me why, are you? Okay.
Saturday Night Live.
Okay. This is the second time I've been here this year, and both times I've come, you make me go first. It makes me a little nervous. Okay. I was sitting by Coach Ivy over there. She's got 2 pages worth of notes that she's going to talk to you about, and it looked like it was good stuff. So good job, Coach Ivy. Okay. I'm here to introduce our all-conference and all-state girls basketball players. Just a couple of comments about the basketball season. It was a great year. The girls did a great job. It was a lot of fun. It helps to keep me young, and I appreciate that. And I want to thank the girls for that, because working with them is really one of those joys that I have in life. And Mr. Foose, is he here tonight or is he skipping? Oh, there he is. Okay, sorry. I thought maybe you were off somewhere hiding. Okay. He said this last night, and it's the truth. I told him 20 years ago that my favorite thing to do was to practice, and that's still the truth. I love to go to practice. I love to spend time with the girls, and these girls that we had this year were great to work with. And these are the girls that people around the state saw as the best players that we had on our team. I thought we had a great team. I thought the girls that we had playing did a great job of playing together throughout the entire year. We ended up being undefeated in our conference this year. We got second at the regional tournament, and then we lost in the semifinals to Cheyenne East. One of the girls that was with us hurt her knee in that, and it made a lot of difference. And that really hurts, because we had 4 knees throughout the course of the year, and that's just one of those things that happens during the course of a basketball season. But as I introduce them, I'll just have those girls come on up here. You guys can stand up here with me while I'm talking, so move this way. I'm not going to say your names till you get up here. Okay, those are nice sweatshirts. I like those. That's a good job. Okay. Told them to get all dressed up. So look what happened. They put on nice Lady Wolves basketball shirts and holy Levi's. Okay. That's about as good as you can get in the United States of America right now. Okay. So at least they're here. We know they'll stay out of trouble for a little while right now. Okay. This is my favorite time of the night. I said this last night. It's basketball practice time. This is where I'm yelling at them and having a good time. These young ladies are the young ladies that were, all 3 of them, all conference. If you look at them, we have Tiana Crowder right here. We have Megan Counts next to her, and then we have Katie Strauss on the far side right there. All of them were nominated, and I guess I nominated them, but they were all chosen as all conference players. We see our leading rebounder in the middle. We see our second leading rebounder right here. We see our leading scorer on the far end, our second leading scorer right there. And then I think you were pretty close to the third leading scorer. She had a tendency, just tell them what you had a tendency to do. Did you want to talk tonight?
Oh, no, I didn't.
Okay. When I first walked in, I said, hey, what are you going to say tonight when I ask you? And she said, I'm too young to talk so far. So I'll do it for her. She was our leading fouler. Okay. She fouled more than anybody. So she was a leader as well. Okay. But she was also our toughest girl. She was also an extremely hard worker. She was aggressive. And as you can see, I'm not super tall, but they're not even quite as tall as me. We were a little undersized, but they did a great job throughout the course of the year. So as I said, Tiana Crowder, Megan Counts, and Katie Strauss. Tayana ended up being honorable mention All-State as well. And Megan and Katie both ended up being All-State for the year, and well-deserved. Both double-figure scores. Like I said, the leading rebounder. Katie will go a step further than that in the all-conference voting. As they vote, the leading vote getter ends up being the 4A West Conference Player of the Year. She was the leading vote getter there, so she was considered the best player in 4A West basketball, and I totally agree with that. I think she deserved that. She changed position this year from a shooting guard and not handling the ball quite as much to our point guard, and really did a great job throughout the course of the year. She also, Katie was also the second in the state in steals this year. She was a tie for first as an assist in the state for the year. She was, I believe, the fourth leading scorer in the state, I think. And so all of her stats were as good as anybody that played in 4A basketball this year. So for all three of them, had great seasons, did a great job for us. As you look up at them, you're looking at girls that have started either 2 or 3 years. They've been with the programs, and they're the leaders of the programs for the Green River Lady Wolves. 2 seniors on each end. Megan's a junior. We expect her to do great things and be the leader for us again next year. And we wish the very best for both Tayana and Katie. Katie is going to have surgery in about, a week? Yeah, about a week. She did tear her ACL. This is the second time she's done that. When she gets that fixed, she's going to go out and play at Western Wyoming Community College. And Megan has aspirations to play in the future as well. And we'll try in the next month or so to talk Tayana to maybe going and playing somewhere as well. They're going to college. They're great students. We'll say, for the sake of argument, that you're pretty close to 4.0 students, right? Shake your heads now. Okay. Are you sure? Okay, they all are. Okay. We have really good students on the girls basketball team, and that's something I've never had to worry about, and I appreciate that as well. Great representatives of Green River High School, and I think they just had a wonderful, wonderful season, and they've had great careers at Green River High School. So thank you, and give them a round of applause. They've had a great year. You guys have intimidated them a little bit. They don't want to speak. Okay. Thank you, girls.
Thank you, girls. Thanks, Rick.
Thank you, Steve.
You've been
I
around.
appreciate you.
Obviously, you've been around Tim Cassidy too long. That was a long speech.
Hey, that's the best one I've ever done here, isn't it? Okay. Hey, I'm just happy I could do it, because the last couple of years, this has been the May meeting when you've done this, and we've been at the best of the best track meet. So Clint Landon came in and did it. And that's a little bit nerve wracking to think that Clint's coming and representing me. So that worries me just a little bit. Okay.
And you should have been concerned.
Thank you, Steve.
All right. Thank you, Rick. Appreciate it. All right. Let's move to boys basketball and our head coach, Lori Ivy. Lori, welcome.
I'm going to help her now.
Ooh, bits of bad news. I am not as funny as Coach Carroll, and I do have the 2 pages, but as Jacob Foose pointed out at the banquet, it's like in 24 size font because I have bad eyes. So I won't be up here as long as Coach Carroll. And I do have the formal greeting because I checked in with Coach Bailey to remind me how to do that properly. So Chairman Core, Superintendent Behringer, and Board of Trustees. Thank you for this opportunity to acknowledge and highlight 3 very special basketball players who have had a tremendous impact on our program. They're incredibly talented basketball players, dedicated students, loyal teammates, and most of all, great human beings. Dylan Taylor, Colby Ivy, Jacob Foose, can you come up and join me, please? I'm worried about the holy genes, and the only one is my kid. After Rick said it. This is Dylan Taylor. Dylan is a relentlessly competitive basketball player and compelled to win. Nothing Dylan does on the basketball court is casual. He's always focused and intense. He takes advantage of absolutely every opportunity to get better. Every workout, every practice, every game, he views as a chance to improve. All season long, Dylan studied film. He studied opponents and he studied himself. It's pretty impressive. This season and all season long, he led our conference in scoring. He averaged 16 points per game, was 8th overall in the state. He was 4th in our conference for rebounding, 10th in the state. Dylan was a first team all conference kiddo last year. He was a first team all conference kiddo again this year. And out of 14 players chosen, he was one of only 3 players chosen from the West as first team all state. Colby. Started coaching Colby in 4th grade with Mr. Mickelson. It's pretty special to say that I both started and finished his basketball journey right by his side. Colby's one of the most unselfish basketball players I've ever coached. He cared about the success of our team, and with that, whatever role he needed to be filled in order for that to happen, he was all in for. Heading into regionals, we talked all week about what we needed to do to get to state. We had to beat Evanston in order to get there. They had already beaten us twice previously in the season. We knew that we had to do 2 things. Number 1, we had to rebound. And number 2, we had to take care of the little things. At the end of the game, Colby had 10 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and he took 3 charges in the last 8 minutes of that basketball game. They were also the only 3 charges he's ever taken in his high school career, but it happened. He led our conference all year last year in assists. He did it again this year, was 5th overall in the state. This year, he was voted first team all conference and also chosen as second team all state. Jacob. Jacob was our floor leader. Wherever we went, it was because Jacob took us there. He was the 32-minute kiddo for the past 2 seasons. His drive, determination, fearless leadership, and his thirst to improve help us pave a path to another successful season and a trip to state. Jacob finished 5th in our season, 5th in our conference for scoring, 12.7 points per game, 7th in our conference for steals, and as a point guard, he was our team's 2nd leading rebounder. Probably his most impressive stat that you won't find on YO Preps, but it's an incredibly important one. It's a stat that measures definitely the size of a player's heart. Last year, Jacob took 14 charges on the season. This year, he took 19. There was never a game or a half or a quarter he wasn't willing to lay it all on the line. Jacob was a first team all conference kiddo last year, and he was again this season as well. He was also chosen as second team all state.
Thank you, Lori. Appreciate it. And congratulations to the student athletes. Appreciate your efforts on the court this year. Next up is a recognition of University of Wyoming Trustee Scholarship recipient, Mr. Heslop. Darren, welcome.
Thank you. Chairman Core, Superintendent Behringer, and Board of Trustees. First of all, I want to congratulate the boys and girls basketball teams. I had a lot of fun watching them this season. They have a lot of heart. They fight hard, and they're great competitors. They're also outstanding students. And that brings me here today to talk about what I'm here for, and that's to recognize and acknowledge and celebrate academic excellence. And you heard about that from the basketball teams. They're great kids, they're great athletes, and they're great students. The kids that I'm going to talk to you about today are also great students. They were recipients of the 2001 University of Wyoming Trustee Scholarship through the University of Wyoming. It's the highest acknowledged scholarship the university provides. Tonight, I would like to call up Miss Jessica Petrie and Emily Skinner. Can I have you guys come up real quick? Since I knew I was following the boys and girls basketball programs, I tried to put together a few stats. I also know that you like to enjoy numbers a little bit, so I'll share a few things with you. Of the 101 students that were awarded the scholarships through the state of Wyoming out of 34 schools, there's roughly about 6,000 seniors in Wyoming high schools. Our 2 ladies represent Green River High School for this award. This year's award winners averaged a GPA of 3.97 and an average ACT score of 32. Emily's GPA is 4.12 and her ACT score was 30. Jessica's GPA is 4.23 and her ACT score was 33. State average is 20. So it's well above and beyond what the state average is. These kids are excelling academically, and we're really proud of what they're doing. What I also want to make sure of is to make you aware of is that these kids are also not just academic students, they're also highly involved within our school. And I am going to ask you two to both speak for a few minutes tonight. And what I'd like you to do is to share with our board and our audience the different things that you were involved with in our school, other than going to class and studying and not being sent to the office because you're in trouble. So I'm going to give the floor to each of you for a moment. And congratulations.
All right. Hi, I'm Emily Skinner. So I guess some of the things that I do, there's a whole lot. I come to these at least like once every other month because of different activities. But I'm the student body vice president, so I'm in student council with that. I just finished, we just closed our musical Cinderella yesterday, so now I got a little more free time now that that has ended, but we'll still be involved with theater. I started tennis this year, which is Jessica also did. We did that together and we both sucked, but it's fine. I was worse. So what else do I do? I'm in NHS, National Honor Society, the Hope Squad, which was established this year. And I feel like I'm missing something. Oh, thanks, Mom. I'm also the Distinguished Young Women of Wyoming, which was a scholarship program that Wyoming does. It used to be Junior Miss, is what some of y'all might know it as. That's another thing that I've been working with and going to nationals this summer. Oh, color guard. I did marching band. I think that's everything. Your turn.
Hello guys, I'm Jess and I do a lot of the same things Emily does. Let's see, we've got a student council meeting tonight right after this. I'm our class vice president. I do speech and debate. I'm going to nationals for my third time this summer and I'm competing at a national qualifying tournament this weekend as well. I'm NHS president and I also play tennis. I teach swimming lessons at night and I just got a new job at summer day camp, which I'm super excited for too. And probably some other things too. I do a lot of things. And I buy ducks.
Congratulations. I think this is a standing ovation here for these two girls. Awesome stuff. Thank you. Thank you, Darren. Okay, yeah. Hey, Mark, would you slide that flag over that way a little bit? Thank you. Next up is recognition of the 2020 VFW Patriots Penn Wyoming winner, Lori Hastert. Lori, welcome.
Thank you.
I see you brought some friends.
Chairman of the board, superintendent, and board members. I'm Lori Hastert. I teach sixth grade at Lincoln. Joining me today are Madeline Thomas, a sixth grader at Lincoln, Jim Shoemaker, post commander, Casey Mays, junior vice commander, Anita Shoemaker, madam president of the local and district auxiliary. Over the past 3 years, students at Lincoln Middle School have had the opportunity to participate in a national competition called the Patriots Pen. This patriotic writing competition is sponsored by the VFW. It encourages students to address specific patriotic topics with specified criteria for writing, and then they submit the writing for judging. The first place winners of the local proceed to district, the first place district winners proceed to the state, and the first place state winner proceeds to nationals. In 2 of the 3 years that Lincoln Middle School has participated, 6th graders have moved on to and have placed in nationals. This year, Madeline Thomas earned first place at the local, first place at district, first place at state, and we received word that her entry for the topic, What Patriotism Means to Me, placed 11th in the nation. That's quite an honor. You have copies of Madeline's essay along with the criteria at your desks. Our post commander would like to present Madeline with her check from the local, and Madam President of the auxiliary and district has a certificate and a check to present from the auxiliary. Congratulations. do you have any questions for us?
Questions? No, awesome
No,
stuff,
this is
man.
awesome.
Good job, Madeline. And thank you very much, and thank you for your service. Appreciate it.
I got one thing to say.
Okay.
Little lady here, amongst the others that won international, from a small town in southwestern Wyoming, Leonard, the nation.
That's amazing.
A few years back was fifth in the nation. But you look at everybody out there, that can right, Patriots. They can go on further. These checks, I mean, what the state can do for them, what the national can do for them, that's upcoming. That's nothing for this time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next up is recognition of district custodians by our esteemed Senator John Barrasso. And not being able to attend Mr. Barrasso, but we have our own little US Senator Doug Hamel.
Chairman, Board, Trustees. On March 15th, we received this letter from Wyoming Senator Barrasso in recognition of the custodians' hard work during this pandemic. So heck, I was going to read it, but it's up there. You can all read it. So that's what I was.
And it's a recognition of all the custodians and okay. How many custodians do we have, Doug, roughly?
I think we roughly about 42.
42.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, tell them congrats.
We will. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Berenger.
Got a name. Oh, and I don't have my reading glasses. Todd Harrod, teacher at Monroe. All right.
Todd.
Todd, I'll be getting hold of him.
Okay, thanks. Next, I need a motion to approve our agenda, please. Moved by Robin, second by Brenda to approve the agenda. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next, approval of the consent agenda items. Is there anything on there you'd like to take off? There being none, I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Rochelle, second by Brenda. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Just a reminder, our McKinnon meet and greet will be this coming Monday. Craig, is there a time we need to, we're gonna need to be out there by 6?
6, yes.
Okay, so meet here at 5-ish, 5:10, something like that.
Yep, 5 o'clock sounds good.
Okay, so if you can make it, that'd be great. Next is, we have set the date for the interspace negotiations of the Green River Education Association. That'll be Wednesday, May 5th at 5 PM. And that'll be in the Central Administration Boardroom here. Hopefully everybody can attend that. Next is personnel. Consider approval of the certified resignations request. Dr. Foos.
Chairman Corr, Superintendent Behringer, trustees, thank you for your consideration for the following certified resignations. Amy Fisher, nurse at Lincoln Middle School, Michelle Recker, kindergarten teacher at Truman Elementary, Carter Hafner, adaptive PE at Harrison Elementary, and Jared Hardman, principal at Monroe Elementary.
Okay, I need a motion, please.
Second.
Moved by Robin, second by Brenda to approve the 4 resignations, Amy Fisher, Michelle Recker, Carter Hafner, and Jared Hardman. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is consider approval of the 21-22 certified contracts. Dr. Foos?
Thank you, Chairman Corr. Trustees, you can see the certified contracts we'll be offering for the 21-22 school year. Thank you for your consideration.
Need a motion, please?
So moved.
Moved by Rochelle, second by David to approve the certified contracts for 21-22. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, consider approval of the 21-22 administration contracts.
Thank you, Chairman Corr. Board of Trustees, for your consideration as the administrative contracts for the 21-22 school year in front of you. Thank you.
Need a motion, please?
So moved.
Moved by Ashley, second by Robin. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is to consider approval of the VRIP retirement request.
Madeline Hamel's name did not make it on the list last month, and so she is brought before you tonight for your consideration, and thank you.
And she met the timeline and everything?
Yes, she did. Everything is square with her.
Okay, you need a motion, please?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Brenda, second by Rochelle to approve the BRIP retirement request for Madeline Hamel. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next, curriculum instruction and assessment. Here, a presentation on the roles of instructional facilitators in the elementary schools. Too bad we can't do this presentation Zoom with the legislature.
We can always do it again if we need to. Good evening, Chairman Corr, Superintendent Behringer, and Board of Trustees. I am very honored to be here tonight to visit on behalf of myself and my elementary principal colleagues on the role of the instructional facilitators in our elementary buildings. And I'm going to do my best to utilize some of this technology. The arrows, right, Mary? Okay, good. As I think one of the pieces is as my elementary colleagues and I sat down and started preparing this, the big picture came out of this is the vital role that this position is to the elementary school, not only to us as principals, but to our entire staff. So I'm going to share a little bit of that tonight with you. So it starts out with that role of professional development in our buildings. They model instruction in the classrooms. They coach teachers on the spot. And we know that's a critical component of development, is being right there right away to respond, just like responsive teaching that we want our teachers to do to with our students in the classroom. They're able to do that and support that on the spot with our teachers and staff. They support them in choosing those instructional strategies based on teacher needs as well as student needs. They locate and evaluate the important resources that will be valuable and critical for those classrooms. Now, our Fontes and Pinnell classroom system that we have adopted over the past couple of years, they are highly trained in this and well-versed and have been an instrumental part in supporting those teachers on a daily basis with the components of that system. And our leveled literacy intervention, you hear it called LLI. And our teachers have received a lot of training through Ohio State University, and our IFs are a critical foundation of bringing that back, training, and on the spot training with our new staff that we bring in. They're able to be that trainer of trainers and continue to carry that over within our schools as well. As I shared, there is immediate response to those instructional needs, and they also lead the Sweetwater 2 teacher mentoring program, which is also critical to the retention of our teachers, that they have a support system in place. And the data, we know this is the driving force behind everything we do, every decision we make. And we do have a lot of that, and it's important that it is analyzed and looked at in appropriate manners, and our IFs are behind the scenes supporting our teachers in that. They collect, they organize it, data walls, LLI data, the YTOP data. They have spreadsheets, they have it dialed down into our standards, and it is a tremendous asset to our teachers. They analyze and facilitate that data discussion. So now we have it on paper, but what does that mean and how am I going to help my staff in the classrooms? The formative assessments as they're watching kids in their classrooms work. Again, how can we observe and make those additional changes for differentiation or enrichment for our students? They are building assessment coordinators, and they collaborate with the building principals. It's a big task, especially when it comes to YTOP, but they are a critical support system in ensuring we're following all the protocols and procedures that come along with YTOP. They have, again, teachers have immediate access to them and the data, and as well as they help PLCs focus on flexible grouping, whether it be for enrichment or intervention for our students. And of course, the curriculum piece, not only just within the resources in the classroom, but they're well-versed in the priority standards, which has been a big focus as they've worked very closely with our curriculum director and us principals, the district standards, the curriculum and resources, and those priority standards, and tying them all together to deliver that instruction in the classrooms. They also have a nice understanding of that vertical alignment of standards and skills, knowing what second grade needs to do to prepare for third grade, and third grade to fourth grade, or vice versa. If we see someone in need, they understand in second grade those foundational skills, and maybe kindergarten first, that we need to fill in to help them move along. And they have a deep understanding of, again, all of our curriculum, standards, strategies. They assist with leading this work, including serving on like program adoption committees as well. And the professional learning community, the PLCs, as you know, and I know many of you have attended training with us, even as we continue that work. They attend the training. They also attend regularly with our grade levels on a weekly basis, a monthly basis. They facilitate our LLI, or our Leveled Literacy Intervention PLC, weekly. They model and assist and uphold that PLC process. That's critical to the work we do each and every day. They facilitate the data tracking within that PLC process to keep things moving along. And they're that critical component in moving the work along in our PLCs, whether it be the planning, the interventions, both school-wide as well as grade level wise. And I think in order for have successful if in our buildings, it's the relationships they build with our teachers and staff day in and day out. This is a non-evaluative person that they can go to for advice and guidance. We know they can come to us as principals, but we also know it's a little different relationship with someone who supervises and evaluates you. So our IFs are there for them, and they are utilized for that purpose as well. So we asked some of our staff, or we asked all the staff, just to share with us a statement or a quote about the IF. I'm not going to read these all to you. You can take time to look at that, but I think I'm going to put together, and I know some of us have a little bit of a book for our IFs to reflect on this. There's some extremely moving pieces in here and how much they truly are valued and appreciated by a variety of staff, whether it be certified or classified staff. And I think just kind of as a testimony to their amazing work and how much they are valued and appreciated in our buildings. And finally, they are a collaborative part as instructional leaders, along with us as building administrators. We have an extremely strong partnership with our IFs, a shared vision. They take part in every committee within that building, and they truly are our right hand and are a vital component to helping us and supporting us as principals and keeping our buildings going. And kind of a little comparison, we talk about their criticalness in the elementary schools and being our right hand. Here's kind of how we can explain them. So a little bit on the lighter side here. They are our Scotty to Michael, our Robbins to Batman, our Colonel Potter to Radar, Gilligan and the Skipper, and a little Josh Allen to Stefan Diggs. They are a true partner with us, and we couldn't keep things running without them, and greatly appreciate the work they do. And I know our staff does as well. And we appreciate you supporting the IFs in the elementary buildings, and thank you for that.
All right. Any questions? Thank you, Anne Marie. Appreciate it. I think, Anne Marie, that's the first time I've heard the instructional update with the clapping at the end. Good job. Next on our agenda is consider approval of request for authorization to renew printer contract. JR, welcome.
Thank you, Chairman Core, Superintendent Behringer, members of the board. We would like authorization to renew our print service contract for the 21-22 fiscal year. Copier and supply was originally awarded this, so we'd like to renew it with them. The cost of the contract will remain the same at $40,800.
Okay, I need a motion, please.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Rochelle, second by Ashley to approve copier supply for our new printer contract for 21-22 fiscal year for $40,800. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, JR. Appreciate it. Next, consider approval of the ratification of the poll on the request for the purchase of motors and installation supplies for the aquatic center. Before Doug jumps in here, the facilities committee got a request on a poll to go ahead with this, and the facilities committee said, yes, it's an emergency. We need to get this done. And then from there, Doug, I guess you can bring us up to date.
Thank you, Chairman, Board. Yeah, over Easter weekend, we had a little bit of a little flood up there to the pool. It took out some motors, and so that the request first was for the motors, and as we took them apart, replacing replacing the motors on the old pumps, we noticed that the impellers were quite worn on the old pumps. So actually the 44, I think it's
45.
45 is for the pumps.
Okay, so we need to ratify the poll. I need a motion, please. Moved by Robin, second by Dave. Any questions? All those, go ahead, Brenda.
Sorry, what caused the flood?
So there was a line in the chlorinator that broke, drained into the pit for enough time that it took out the motors.
It sounds like the motors are on their last legs anyway. They're 10 years old, right?
10 years old.
Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank
Thank you, Doug. Next item, consider approval of the GREA negotiation signature sheet. Lisa, for the last time.
No, actually not.
I thought you were retiring.
I am retiring, but I have been, talked into and chosen to stay as president for the association.
All right.
So I'll
Congratulations.
continue.
Okay. Okay. It's not
And-
for the last time. I
No,
apologize.
well, I'd hope I could pick on you longer. So.
Oh, yeah. Well,
So Chairman Core, Superintendent Behringer, and board members, I present to you the signatures for negotiations from our staff members. 301, which it puts it at 60%.
Thank you.
all right. Thank you. Next is the update on the 2021-22 budget. Chris is with us. Chris, welcome.
Thank you, Chairman Core, Superintendent Behringer, and Board of Trustees. So we want to give you a legislative update. As you know, probably already, that House Bill 173 failed to reach concurrence, or the Joint Conference Committee failed to reach concurrence on the bill. Consequently, there will be no legislative action on the funding for education for next year, which is not a totally bad thing. It's kicked down the road for another year, you could say. We're going to be doing this all over again, I have no doubt. The committee, the bill, House Bill 173, I thought was a good bill. It was a four-pronged approach that was trying to answer and address the structural deficit, give them some solutions there. And then that's where the hangups came, where they could not agree on the revenue diversions, could not agree on the half-penny tax that was included in there. They could not agree on how the federal dollars that are coming to us through the American Rescue Plan would be allocated, saved, and spent. There was quite a complicated discussion, but the gist of it was that they were going to backfill the foundation formula with the American Rescue Plan dollars, with the exception of a requirement that 20% of the funds had to go toward learning loss and, extra tutoring. The rest of it was going to have restrictions on it. And then the big one was moving the teacher salaries outside of the block grant and increasing class size. That one they actually had reached some agreement on, but the discussions ended at the end of that day without a solution. So we will revert back to the 2020 education funding model that will give us a slight cut in our health insurance. And also it reduces the ECA that was given to us for this school year by 50%. The other pages, I won't go through all of these in detail, but I've listed the other 2021 education bills that passed. Many of them are not, they're all good, and I should say they're all good. They are mostly good, and some of them affect us, some of them don't. The one that will affect us eventually is Senate File 79, which is where we will be required to do Medicaid billing for school-based services. And that also retains the special education cap that is currently in place. And there will be other bills that will raise their head again, next year that will, I think we'll have a year to work on and try to prepare for. Some of the bills that we know are not going to go away are, the health insurance funding piece is going to come back. The consolidation bill is going to be raised again. They did actually get something better on consolidation than what they originally proposed. That was in House Bill 173, where they would just go down maybe 9 school districts. So there's talk there that seems promising that they wouldn't, make it 24 school districts in the state. So just something to keep an eye on. At this point, Governor Gordon has come out and stated that he plans to get involved and assist in finding the solution for K-12 funding. He wants to use a customer service approach and get into the communities and find out what it is that people want from our schools. And the question is how is that going to happen? And who's going to be involved? Who's going to be making these decisions? So yet to be seen. Governor Gordon's going to be talking to the superintendents on Thursday, so hopefully we'll get some insights as to how that's going to work. I wanted to just show you where we're at, and this is a preliminary, very preliminary. You'll be getting the preliminary budget next month, as you know. But for right now, I wanted to share with you the ADM and where it's falling. Right now, if we did ADM this week, it's 2,307, which is down. The actual ADM is down 180 students in 1 year. And when you do the 3-year rolling average, we're at 84.98 students that will be not funded in School District 2 for next year. That equates to $1,020,000. The other 2 items that you're seeing there are adjustments to the current funding model that were passed in last year's budget session. So we have a total net reduction in our funding of $1.11 million. And the attritional savings that go along with our VRIP in positions that will not be replaced, savings is projected to be 1.127 million. So we're in good shape at this point. It's preliminary. There is a lot of things yet to be, we've still got to work on our budget. We've got cuts in other areas that we've proposed. And of course, we've got IBN coming up on May 5th that will impact this. And, but this is the broad look at where we're at and where we reached the VRIP taking care of our ADM adjustments. And with that, I'll answer any questions.
Any questions?
On the,
Go ahead, Brenda.
on the reduction in enrollment, do you have a breakdown on, is it people moving out of the area, people homeschooling, people going virtual?
Earlier in the year, we did an estimate on, and it's a fluid number, but earlier in the year when we did an estimate of that 180 students, we estimated 86 of them pulled out to go to virtual school, to another district, or to homeschool. Now, there's a chance we could get some of those kids back, and I think we will get some of those kids back. So that might level out a little bit for next year, but that still leaves, 94 kids that left the area. And we've got kids moving in all the time. So it's hard to predict where it will go, but this 85 loss is going to be with us for 3 years. It's going to be in our average for 3 years. Just know that.
But every new kid we get funding for that immediately, correct?
If we get new students, like say we got 3 new students this week, we will collect ADM for them from today through the end of the year. So you'd get.
But if we pick up 50 kids starting the next school year.
Right.
Yeah, it's an immediate turnaround.
Right. We would get to count them. And so that would level your or hopefully reduce your 3-year rolling average at that point.
Okay.
So,
I've had an opportunity in the last 2 weeks to sit in, and I know Corinne and Chris have been in on it too, coalition Zoom meetings, and there's 14 districts in the coalition. And the coalition is something we put together, I think, in 2014. And basically it's to keep an eye on the legislature to make sure that they are doing their job in terms of the Constitution and the Supreme Court ruling. And I don't know, you could call it a hammer or whatever you want to call it, but it's something that I think we need, and we're glad we're involved in. Wish we could get more of the small districts in the state to join us in this effort. But bottom line, Chris, and correct me if I'm wrong, the coalition meeting I heard, and my understanding is that the COVID money that we're getting, the Biden money that we're going to get, we're going to be allowed to save some of that money in a separate account that's not our reserve. That's what I heard.
yes, it has to be in a separate special revenue fund account.
Okay.
It will not do anything to our general fund reserve.
So the good news is, and you're anticipating about how much is Green River going to get out of that?
My estimate is about 4.3 million
So we're going
on
to
the
get,
Biden money.
so we're going to get that money, and I don't think there's going to be a lot of strings attached to that. I know there's 20%'s got to go to that piece you talked about, but
Right.
the bottom line is we are going to be able to save that money. And I think it behooves this district to do that. And obviously we still have our pre-$97, which I'm so proud of. And we still have a fully funded reserve account of 15%. So financially, the school district is really in great shape, in my opinion.
I agree.
And I was excited to hear that about we can set that money aside into a reserve account. I think we need to spend some of that money and do it wisely and all of those things. But as you heard Charlie Scott say, walking out the door in Cheyenne, you better save your money because you're going to need it. That was his comment going out the door. And he's the Senate education guy. So, yeah. I was going to save this till the end, but I'm going to say it now. And that is, I think our kids, our employees, our teachers, our administrators, and your school board members took a big beating in Cheyenne, in my opinion. Watched a lot of it. There were personal attacks, calling out ifs, calling out administrators, calling out board members that we're not doing our jobs. There were words and a lot of inaction in this, and it was all on public education. But I want to tell you this, your school board knows what's going on in Green River schools. This board here, we know what's going on. We're there for you. We understand it. We understand funding. We understand that we do not overpay our administrators. We do not overpay our teachers. We pay you what you earn. And I'm proud of that. I think our average teacher salary is $55,000. The state of Wyoming gives us $38,000 to fund our teachers. And we're paying $55,000. I'm proud of that. And I think collectively, this board is very extremely proud of all of you. You have done a fantastic job in what has been a very difficult year. There's no doubt. And to take the beating that we took from our elected officials was unfair, in my opinion. So we, as your locally elected board, bottom line, I think we're all proud of you. And we're going to go to bat for you. We're going to continue to go to bat for you. And you guys just do what you do, and that's educate our kids. And I think you do a damn good job. Anybody else?
Ditto. Thank you. Well, and I think we have to just continue to fight with and
We do.
and to
I think we-
speak our minds
yeah.
and to let the legislators know when they start pulling that stuff out of the model, they take out local control. I mean, we might as not have a local school district or a local school board if they take 80% of the funding out for our, 80% of our budget is pretty much salaries. And if they take that out of the model, why have a local trustee?
Right.
board?
They don't need us.
So I think we all participated in some or all of the sessions and offered comments, and we still took a beating. So just know
Yeah.
we're fighting for you.
Yes. And there's some legislators that are out there fighting for us. There's a gentleman in Big Pine or Pinedale, Albert Summers, Eric Barlow from Gillette. they were battling for us. And I got to be honest with you, Chris, I was not surprised they didn't do anything. I just figured that's what it was going to come down. And the House members said no, and the Senate said we need to cut.
Right.
And so they couldn't get along. And so we did that. The other thing I want to point out that they kept harping on and hammering home, and I think they were trying to get the teachers in favor of this. And they were trying to move teacher dollars out of the block grant and move it into a categorical grant and put an 8.6% increase on that. So there was a lot of teachers that thought if this goes through, they're going to get an 8.6% raise. Well, that's not how it works. They were going to move $37,000 is what we get for every one of our teachers to $41,000. And like I said, our average salaries in Green River are $55,000. So I thought they were kind of misleading that. And I was glad that some of those legislators stepped up and, you need to be reminded that this is not what's actually happening. So I think, thanks to everybody that took part in it. I'm proud of this district and I think we're doing just fine.
Great.
Chris, and then a lot of that's to you and Corinne for keeping us in line.
Well, it was definitely a challenge keeping up with it. It was a roller coaster really for the last 5-6 weeks, but I do want to thank the board members and I know even our association teachers probably were involved in emailing and doing whatever they could to talk to the legislators. Not that anybody was listening or we didn't feel like they were listening in many ways, but we did, like Chairman Corr stated, we had some representatives in the House of Representatives, the ones that put House Bill 173 together, that I'm convinced worked day and night for 4 months to get that thing together. And I'm proud of them that they stood up to the Senate and did not cave into the concessions that they were asked to be made. The battle's not over, that's for sure, because the Senate has a very strong negative attitude towards school districts. And I don't know what we can do to overcome it. The House could not overcome it this year. So we've got another year to work on this and hopefully make some progress with them.
Yeah, we'll have to go another round with this, but I implore the educators, I implore parents who support public education to look at how the legislators that we get a vote on voted on House Bill 173. Please do that. Please go see how they voted. And then you can decide from there.
Yes. Great.
All right. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Any other questions? Thank you. I gotta let my blood pressure go down a little bit. Sorry, I went on a rant there. Next item is consider approval of the McKinnon calendars for 21-22 and 22-23. And just for the public's information on this, the McKinnon School is on the Manila, Utah calendar. So it's a little bit different than ours. So Mr. Bailey, welcome.
Thank you, Chairman Corr, Superintendent Behringer, Board of Trustees. As you know, every couple of years, we go through a cycle where we put a vote out to the community of McKinnon, where they can elect to either align with the Manila School District or Sweetwater number 2. We followed that same process with the help of our staff out of McKinnon this year, and they did vote 9-3 to again align for Manila over the next 2 years. So that has been presented to you and just looking for your approval.
Need a motion, please?
Second.
Moved by Robin, second by Brenda. Trey, what, on 9-3, obviously that's the vote, but what were some of the concerns from the 3 that wanted to align with Green River? They live here.
Looking at the 2 calendars, there's one difference, and that is spring break and what week that is. And so the start date's the same. The last day of school is the same. Every staff development holiday throughout the year is the exact same. So really, in my opinion, we have some families who have older students that are in the schools in Manila, and they look to keep all of their family on the same spring break calendar.
Can't blame them.
Yep.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks,
All
Trey.
right, thank you.
Next item, consider approval of the new policy GBMB KLDA staff grievance procedures. This is third and final reading. Dr. Foos, any changes?
There is not, Chairman Corr, trustees, and thank you for your consideration. If you have any questions, I'll answer them.
Any questions? I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Moved by Ashley, second by Rochelle to approve new policy GBMB KLDA. Any questions? All those in favor? Opposed, motion carries. Next, consider approval of the revision of policy HG-E, professional negotiation agreement, third reading. Mr. Foos?
What we're simply doing here is taking out the old grievance policy because we just approved the new one.
Got it. Any questions? Need a motion, please? Moved by Robin, second by Rochelle. Any questions? All those in favor? Opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Consider approval of the revision of policy JHCD, administering medication to students, first reading. This is a new one.
Yes, it is. And a lot of kudos to Michelle and the nurses. Michelle worked endlessly on this. The policy originated from Copenhagen and the Wyoming School Board Association, and then went to Michelle and lots of conversations to see the policy before you here. We're going to probably update this one every 3 or 4 years. You can see the last update was 15, but this takes into account the new regulations and some of the things going on for first reading. You may or may not see changes moving forward for the next 2 readings.
Okay, need a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Dave,
Second.
second by Brenda. Any questions? The doc. Hey, Mark, talk in your mic.
Oh, I'm sorry. Paragraph that has the exchange of information, health information.
Yes.
HIPAA, you're on that page 122 in the book, or.
Okay.
I know it says down there, sharing of health information regarding the student's diagnosis and medication. That to me is fairly vague. I think it maybe needs a little bit more teeth, that the only health information that should be shared would be regarding the particular medication and that particular health information.
Okay.
Not general health information in any way.
All right.
Where
Understood.
we can't inadvertently get a patient's complete chart.
And I know that there was a little bit of a lengthy debate with Alan and the 504 provisions, because I know in those staffing meetings and sometimes in IEPs that there has to be a little bit more in-depth conversation. And so that's why you saw broader language with the policy, but I will take a
I
look
can
at
see
that
a
with
problem
them.
where you could get an inadvertently release of information on a complete patient chart, and that would probably go bad.
Yeah, it definitely would.
So I think that should be pinned down a little bit tighter.
Okay.
So I'd like to see, look into that.
Okay, this is on first reading, so I think we can move forward. We still have 2 more readings and make that adjustment, and
That's
obviously-
correct.
Obviously clear that through legal as well.
All righty.
Okay. We have a motion on the floor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next, consider approval of the removal of policy JHCDR, student health records, first reading. This is going to replace the old one.
Yes, it is.
Okay, I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Moved by Brenda, second by Rochelle, to approve policy JHCD-R. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Thank you, Dr. Foos.
Chairman Corr, I had a message from the board and from Michelle that she wanted the folks in the community to know that these are a little tighter than what was proposed by Tracy Copenhagen and the group. And she felt that that was important, that people knew that that was their intent, our school nurses.
Okay, thank you. All right, next up is comments from our esteemed trustees. Somewhere, hang on. If I don't write this down, I'll forget who to call on. And I lost my list. Didn't do me good. All right, here we go. Brenda, you're first.
Thank you. It's just nice to see everybody here and being recognizing our kids. I think it's great way to start our meeting. So thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. David.
I echo what you said earlier. Thank you to everybody. And I know it sounds like a broken record, but thank you for going through a challenging year. Superintendent Behringer sent us a link today to show how Wyoming has stood above the rest of the states as far as education goes this year, and being face to face every day. And our kids are going to be better off by the sacrifices that you all gave. So please give our thanks to your teachers, custodians, nurses, everybody. It's been a great year. You've done a great job, and you've stood in the face of the storm and you've made it. And there's activities coming up. There's prom, there's track meets going on, there's soccer, there's lots of stuff going on, lots of good things that are happening. So thank you for everything.
Well said, Mark.
Thanks for everybody's hard work and keeping all the kids safe. I would echo the state of Wyoming's been great. We've kept sports going, we've kept in stuff going, we've kept our kids healthy mentally. We're going to be so far ahead of these lockdown states that have just really shut everything down. And we've been able to do all that and pretty much keep our numbers below the complete lockdown places. So thanks for keeping everybody safe and all the hard work.
All right, thank you, Mark. Ashley?
First, I just condolences to Robin and her family. And Jim had a great impact on our district and in our community, so he will be missed, and we're certainly thinking of her. Also, I would echo what these guys have said so far, and thank you to Chris and your team for staying on top of all the legislative stuff, and for putting all that together for us to make it easier to understand. So thank you. I know that's taken a lot of your time. And thank you to Craig. He gives us weekly updates, and he always is just welcoming if we stop by to chat with him. So thank you to him too. And good luck to everybody on YTOP testing. And we just have about 6 more weeks or so. And so it's exciting that we've made it this far and had such a great year. So thank you.
Thank you. Ashley, Rochelle?
Well, first I want to say, I think Rick Carroll should open every board meeting. Makes it a lot more fun. Not that you guys aren't fun, but he's pretty funny.
I got to tell you, I've seen him perform, and he could do stand-up comedy. He's
I know,
good.
bring him back.
Yeah.
Like,
He does that in church too, I guess.
does he?
Yeah, he's pretty funny.
My dad was a preacher. He's never that funny. To Robin too, I want to say, I'm so sorry for the loss of Jim. His impact carries on in this district far and beyond. So thank you for sharing him with us. And we appreciate everything that he's ever done. So thank you. For prom, you guys have fun at prom. It's going to be a good time, I think. It was fun seeing the cheerleaders at their fundraiser on Saturday night. They were practicing their dancing and doing some flips in the air about giving me and Tony heart attacks because it's a concrete floor. And I didn't even recognize Tony because he wasn't in normal work clothes. I kept looking at him and I'm like, that's Tony. And my friend's like, no, it's not. I'm like, that's Tony. But so good luck to them, and good luck on YTOP, everybody.
All right, thank you. Robin, I'm going to go before you. Can I do that? My heart just aches for you, Robin. When I heard the news, I had to tell my daughter, and my daughter was in the first group of kids that went on the SeaWorld trip when Jim brought that to the board. Heather graduated in 07, so that was in 06. And she had so much fun on that trip that she convinced Jim that she needed to go again. And she wasn't qualified to go again. But she convinced Jim to let her go. So Heather went twice. I had to pay for the second road trip, but and immediately I shared the pictures with Shane. I'm sure he shared them with you. She immediately sent me the 2 pictures from SeaWorld. I don't know where she had them, where they were at. She lives in Rapid City, sent them to me. But your husband touched a lot of lives. He touched my life. He was just one of those guys that I thoroughly enjoyed just talking to. He just was a great man, and I'm going to miss him on the Greenbelt, walking in the mornings. When the sun finally warms up and I can start walking again on the Greenbelt. But our hearts are hurt for you, Robin. And I appreciate you being here tonight. I'm glad you're here, and I hope things are getting a little bit better. But I'll let you speak if you'd like.
Well, now that you just wrecked me, thanks. Now what I really want to do is thank the district as a whole for all of their kind words and support. And I'm not sure my son and I would have made it this far without everyone. So thank you.
Thank you, Robin. You good?
Good.
Okay, thank you. Let's give Robin and Jim a little round of applause. All right. Wow, what a nice meeting tonight, huh? All the celebrations we did with all the kids. It was awesome. Good stuff. Appreciate your attendance. We do have to deal with a personnel issue, so we do need to go into executive session. So I could have a motion, please.
So moved.
Moved by Rochelle, second by Ashley. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you for your attendance tonight. We will be taking Thanks, Dr. Demaray, for being on tonight. He had a little bit of some cutting on him today, and I think he's doing good. So Alan, thanks for joining us. And I see Ralph Obray's also on our Zoom along with Daleen Smith. So appreciate those folks looking in on Zoom tonight. With that, Craig doesn't get a talk. Sorry, Craig, I forgot you.
It's all right. I'm good. I'll make up for it.
All right. I need a motion to end executive session.
So moved.
Moved by David, second by Brenda. All those in favor?
Hi.
Opposed, most,
Conversation.
huh?
We need to have.
No, we need to go home. Adjourn. Thank you.